do you not have a list of streets or roads that the subsurface is in good shape and, or the, water mains are in good shape, drainage is in good shape, and that we should be spending money there on the surface as opposed to?
We typically, before we do any of the asphalt work, we're going to fix the utilities, change out valves, change
Well,
out
that was the purpose. So you're talking about, so Gordon Road for 67.5 is just gonna be the surface work, but you're gonna put in more money for,
No, that's ancillary drainage work, police details. It's soup to nuts. Mike Sorgan does a very comprehensive estimate for the roads. So some of the roads he gets with the.
right, I guess I may have misstated my original question then. I guess my original question was, does the subsurface is not, you're saying it's not in good shape now, but once this is done, it'll be
Subsurface of the
replaced?
road.
Okay,
When you see a road, just Joe and I know this, but when you see it, it starts to crumble, like an alligator, we call it. Typically, that means what's underneath cannot support. A lot of North Reading is what they call glacial till. It's like a clay-like material. Clay doesn't drain well, at least what we call frost eaves. Been to up north, you've seen them. So a lot of our roads were built on that. Country Club Road was literally 3/4 inches thick. That's all that was put down when they built that street. So sometimes we're correcting what our forefathers allowed to be built. But yes, we do check to look at the utilities underground, fix them before we do anything.
okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I mean, we wouldn't want to pave it, then tear it up again. We coordinate with the gas company, the water department, our own drainage stuff. A lot of the drainage stuff in these roads, for example, Country Club is in the 50s and 60s, the cheapest way to put pipe in the ground was what's called corrugated metal pipe. Put metal in the ground, what happens? It rusts. So literally it rusts, so there's nothing, so basically the dirt. So a lot of, we're taking that out, putting in either concrete pipe or plastic pipe.
Dick,
Mr.
uh, I look at these sheets that we just handed out, and so there's a $200,000 road program, there's a list.
Right, Greg asked me to look at 3 different
At $250.
amount of money and just put
there's
which
a
streets would
list.
fit in there, that amount.
So, I guess, when you're looking at roads from a priority point of view, right, instead of looking at it this way, right? For example, in the $200,000 program, Linwood Ave doesn't get done.
Correct.
But Linwood Ave at $120,000 could fit if you had $200,000. So I'm trying to understand how these have been selected, on what basis.
Part of it is that list, who grabbed that? Dave had a list where he ranked every street, so we've been picking from that. What I'm moving toward is a pavement management program Greg referred to, where every street's going to have a numerical rating, 1 through 5. So I'll be able to, if you ask me where the street is in the priority, I'll be able to tell you this is a street that's 2. We're only paving 4s and 5s this year, something like that.
Is that gonna be in-house, Dick? Is that gonna be done in-house, or you're gonna have someone come and do it?
I haven't made a decision yet.
Because that can be subjective.
Town of Burlington did a very nice one.
Really?
Tommy Hayes, I don't know if you know him.
Yeah,
I've been talking to him. Option 1, have a consultant do it. Paving rating is subjective to who's rating it. So there's a inherent problem with it. If one guy rates it today,
Right.
in 2 years somebody else rates it, it's got to be consistent. So that's the part I haven't really figured out yet to make it worth our while to do it, Joe.
Mr. Frisco?
Just a few questions. On the bottom bullet, the $200,000 from available funds, is part of that $200,000 the $120,000, some of it, the $120,000 that's left over from the capital money that,
No, it's all new money. So the recommendation is $200,000 in new money, Michael.
so you have that available now?
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. The plan is to, Liz and I had some discussions in terms of what we could afford. One of the issues that we, as you know, is affordability. We'd love to have fund a $300,000 road program. It's just our view that to pay cash, we don't want to borrow for road projects because you can only borrow for a period of 5 years. And this is more or less a reoccurring expenses, as Richard had indicated earlier today. We don't want to borrow. We want to pay cash for our road improvement projects. So that's what the goal is, to try to fit it in with available funds.
So, then with that said, if we grant them the $300,000, then you add the other $121,000, that's over $420,000 of money. But I only see a plan to do work for $300,000, so it doesn't really make sense to me.
No, I think, again, it goes back to the question I asked. He's requested 300,000, which I gather he would do then third page.
Yeah, but he has $120,000 of chapter 90 money remaining, left over. He has that right now.
Where'd you
right.
get that number from?
Well, if you take the number that Mr. Peloponus provided us this evening in his report, 491,000 and change of chapter 90 money we're getting. This is for FY 2013, right? So
That's
we have
for this
$400
current fiscal year.
$491,000 in plus chapter 90 money for FY 2013. Then you add this $300,000 to it, that's over $700,000,
Yeah.
$800,000.
Right.
He already told us he's only doing $370,000 of chapter 90 work right now.
Where's that? I don't know. I'm
Okay.
confused.
Okay?
Where'd you get
Well,
that?
I mean,
He's
the
down
roads
tonight,
that,
but-
for this calendar, this year, this calendar year that we're gonna do are those two streets.
Right. You say it adds up to $370,000.
Attacking me.
That leaves over $120,000 remaining. in
Oh, I see
chapter
what you're
90
saying.
money.
Tower Hill and School Hill are gonna be 370.
Right, that leaves $120,000 remaining here.
Which we
Now we're
use-
gonna give him another $300,000, you put those together, that adds up to over $420,000. So I'd just like to know what the
Yeah, I
plan
think he
is.
has an ex.
Okay,
Mr. Conwell, I think you were gonna answer that.
There are, Steve, where's that list? There are millions and millions of dollars worth of streets to be done.
yep,
So
But he's just
part of what the
doing
winter project is pavement management system that takes it from Dave's plan ended up in FY10, even though there's half of these left, is to rate everything, come up with a numerical thing, so I could tell you, yes, here are the top 10 or the worst 10 streets. Or conversely, another thing we're moving towards is, and Joe's probably seen this, you try to fix a street before it's totally falling apart. So we're trying to move from where we are now, this full depth reconstruction is very expensive, to up here, so we get more roads done at a lower cost per road. So we're trying to move from what we're doing now up to here, to kind of counteract the asphalt costs are beyond our capability.
What
But
that means
there are,
is-
there are plenty of roads to do.
Right, what that means is, when these streets get done over, these streets in the list there, Dick will go back and look at our, it's Dick.
Dick or Mike.
Retired,
Yeah.
but someone will go back and look at these streets before they get to the condition they're in right now, and find out if there's something we can do to address it and not have to spend that type of money.
Okay, that I understand, but I think Michael's question goes to the balance of the Chapter 90 money. Do you have an intent to use that on some road or roads?
Correct, yes.
You do, okay, but we just haven't, you haven't determined what that's going to be yet?
Correct. And I was asked to put together roads to match this dollar amount. It's not integrated with all the funding. There is prior Chapter 90 money available. There is a little bit of town road money left still. So there's other pots of money. This doesn't represent every penny we have.
okay. Well, wouldn't we want to exhaust those dollars before we actually go into the taxpayers' pocket and take more money?
Seemed to make sense to expend it, to me, to expend the Chapter 90 money.
From a construction standpoint, because at the end of the season, this work, if it's when appropriate, is until next season. If you hold off another 12 months, then if I spend 370 out of that 491, then we're going to do one street next year. So there's consistently been a need, it's consistently been appropriated every year to get up into the, it's ranged from a high of 613 total.
Yeah, but on the reverse side of that is, you just said you'll have remaining Chapter 90 money, you actually have remaining Chapter 90 money from last year, and you have some other road money remaining. So maybe we just need to get a good accounting of what you have remaining in total, so we see what we're dealing with here. So maybe we don't need to really fight to come up with $300,000. Maybe we can do it with $150,000.
Do we know what is left over in all Chapter 90 money? Does anyone?
Well, he just said he's got multiple Chapter 90 money.
I know,
and
that's what
road
I'm
money.
asking, if we have an idea of what that figure
Yeah,
is.
I think that would be helpful.
All right. Our uncommitted balance on all Chapter 90 accounts now is $182,000. Back out $25,000 for the pavement, for the traffic management stuff we've been talking about, leaves roughly $150,000.
What traffic management stuff? Oh,
You kidding
Don't
me?
mention it.
You kidding me, right?
He's kidding you.
well, that's going to lead to a question later on, so I'm glad you're here, but okay. Fair enough.
So that's the balance remaining in that.
So the roadwork season is now, correct? And the money that we're looking for to put into the budget in October is for next spring,
Correct.
based on a fiscal year ending June 30th.
Right. Right now, without this money, we would have the money to do one road in the spring, unless it's more Chapter 90 appropriations. But as you know, this year got held up almost a month and a half, 2 months due to other issues beyond our control.
So you
our season's
basically
shot,
won't be
basically.
spending the Chapter 90 money this summer, or some of it.
The 2 roads I mentioned will be done this season, weather permitting. And then in the spring, the balance of the money, that will be used for a job.
So the
And-
balance of the money is that 180 less than 25?
Correct.
Okay. So you had 370 plus 182 less 25. I'm just trying to.
I guess
Yeah, I
order-
think that's, the math is right.
I'll give you some order of magnitude.
Huh?
North, Central Street from North Street to Spruce Street is $225,000. So this money doesn't go far.
Yeah.
No, we're just trying to get a handle on what's there and available now.
Because you also mentioned that you had other road money available too, besides the
There's
chapter
roughly $5,000 left in the previous town road money. We've exhausted, when I got here, we had 5 or 6 years worth open. We've been just shutting them out as we go. Little 4,000 here, 5,000 there. We've been kind of eliminating all the older money.
No, but there's 155,000 now that you have at your,
That's chapter 90.
well, no, that's chapter 90 and other road money combined.
Town road money.
All right, so
Similar to this, what I'm asking
the
for.
chapter 90 is restricted to what roads you can use it on. You can't use it on these secondary subdivisions, correct?
You can, yeah. You can't use it on
can.
private roads.
You can't use it on.
Yeah, unaccepted roads, right?
There's typically not enough money. You try to do,
Two separate instances.
I'm sorry, they can be used on all these roads? Yeah. So we're looking for another $300,000 on top of the 180 that's, or 150 that's available. 491's coming in, yeah, 491's coming in.
But out of that 491, 370 is being used, so we get 120 there.
I'm misunderstanding. I thought that the 180 is old money that's left, so the Tower Hill and School Hill Lane are gonna be out of the 491?
Right.
Okay. So then you've got 180 less than 25, plus 5, $155,000, plus the 491, less
370.
370, right.
can I,
370.
so I got a little alibi. Actually, the cost to do Tower Hill is $334. I misread it, sorry, I don't have my glasses. And the cost to do School Hill is $105. So that would be $440,000 for those 2 streets. I'm sorry, I was incorrect. The amount.
Okay.
So
Better give it to you quick, then.
50,000
God knows what's
less.
gonna be tomorrow morning.
No. We have 490 plus the 155.
There's $50,000 left in that account after those 2 roads are done. And the intent for that was used for some of the engineering work for the pavement management. But they've bid it out, I don't know what the number's gonna be. So essentially, that money is 95% allocated for road work or something else.
I get $225,000 more.
Yeah.
Basically, you get $490,000 coming in here. You've got 155 left after the 25 that was spent for that other little studies and stuff that we're going into.
No, no, I was incorrect. Of that 491, the 2 roads I mentioned are 440,000.
I know that, okay, so, but I'm talking total dollar amount that's available right now, 491 or 490, plus the 155, less the 440.
Less the 25.
I get 206.
No, the 25, the 155 is net, that's with the 25. So I get 225.
I get 206.
206, that's the $25 difference, $25,000 difference.
Right, I
You
get
double cut.
491 plus 155.
The 155
Minus
is, but the
440.
155, we've already taken out the 25.
Let's start, I would like to make a
Okay,
suggestion.
so it's
Maybe-
$225,000 is what you have left, plus you're looking for another 300.
Maybe we can ask Liz and Dick to get together and just send us a sheet
That 155.
that just kind of captures it all in writing, so we can see it. If that's okay,
Good idea.
Mr. Delaney.
I think it's a good idea.
And then, you know, we have time to address, because you know what, I fully support the road program, I really do. But this is gonna be a really challenging year for money because, you know, we already hit